Hey cats, what's happening? It is lovely weather. It's like 70 degrees in the first week of March, which is incredible. And obviously, I haven't taken my bikes out, but I haven't winterized any of them. As you can see, every one of them starts right up without a problem. I haven't taken my Harley out yet. Yesterday, it was like 73 degrees. There was lots of bikes out on the road, and there was Harleys out there too. But I mean, look at this. Salt. And I've shown you this before, but I take my truck through the car wash regularly, and this spray is just from this week. And I don't want that all over my bike. So I would hope that those guys that are out riding this week would have the means to wash their bike. I don't have any water in my garage here. The only water I have is up there on the side of the house, and I don't have that turned on yet. So I'd have to wash the bike up there if I took it out. But I'm going to wait, let it rain a couple times, which it will here in the next couple weeks, and then I'll be out riding again. And you know, I miss riding. I love it. I love to ride. But my bike's a classic, so I don't want to mess it up anymore. I just want to keep it going as long as I can. It almost looks like I'm going to have to put a new starter in it pretty soon. And I've done that before. It's a pain in the neck. It's a lot of work. You'd think it would come right out from this side, but that doesn't happen. You got to take this side apart. But you also have to pull it out from this side. Yeah, it's the only way it comes out. And like I said, it's more work than you think. But I've done it before, and I'll do it again if I have to. Anyway, you know, my question is, do you think that well, it's pretty obvious that the biker culture is changing. Just yesterday when I was out, I passed a group of kids on Groms. The Groms are literally the size of this mini bike, but they're street legal. And these kids, there was like 5 or 6 of them in a group, and they'll go, you know, 50, 60 mile an hour, I guess, and they were just zooming right down the road together. The other thing I see around here in Northeast Ohio is a prominence of sport bikes. And now you're going to see more and more of these adventure bikes. They're not the crotch rockets. They're more of a I don't know, more on the lines of a dirt bike, but they're street. You know, a street bike that kind of resembles a dirt bike. You sit more up on it. The wider handlebars, lightweight, easy to maneuver, very peppy and quick. I told you, my brother has the Honda Africa Twin, which is an adventure bike, and I rode that. It's all automatic. There's no shifting, and there's different modes. You can do trail mode, which gears down the shifting, or you can do street mode or even highway mode. And I don't know what other modes were on there, but it's all computerized, and that thing would go. I mean, he had it in like a street mode, and I took off on it, and that thing was ripping. I mean, you could pull the wheel off the ground with that thing. So they're nice, agile, fun bikes, especially if you have a commute or something, and they're very dependable. You still see some Harleys out on the road. And it seems to me like whenever I see a Harley on the road, it's always an older guy. Perhaps that is that the young kids can't really afford to spend $20,000 plus on a motorcycle when they can go get a Honda, a Kawasaki, a Suzuki, a Yamaha for way less money. And they get some really nice bikes out there. The other thing is that I see too is not so many Harleys on the road, but also uh, more of the Japanese touring bikes. The big Hondas, the Gold Wings, and the Yamaha has some big touring bikes too. Which, if you didn't know your motorcycles, you'd be hard pressed to think might be a Harley. But you can tell. Us Harley riders, we can tell by the sound and just by looking at the bike that's not a Harley. It looks like one, but it's not. So yeah, the culture's changing somewhat now. I don't know how it's affecting the clubs, the MC club life. Uh, for right now, things seem to be fairly calm with the club groups. I know we have some clubs in this area, in Northeast Ohio, and it's pretty quiet. You don't hear much from them at all, and it's pretty rare if you do see them on the road. Unlike other places in the country where they're very prevalent, um, not real prevalent around here. Although the clubs do exist here. The other thing that I've noticed here is maybe probably within the last 20 years ago and up, there was a big thing about chopper builds. There was Orange County Choppers and all those their TV shows and the chopper build offs and all that stuff. And I'm not seeing so much of that now. In fact, I've seen a lot of negative stuff about Orange County choppers that, uh, these choppers, if they're not designed properly, they can be a death trap. They're just junk, and people were spending upwards of $60,000 for these things, and then realizing down the road that they couldn't even get 10 grand for it on a resale. They don't handle. They're prone to breakdowns. Uh, it's a bad investment. You still do see the choppers at the shows, though, the customs. I think the big thing about that is who can do the coolest paint job. I mean, you see some incredible artwork on these bikes nowadays, and I think that's the cool thing. Of course, we see the big wheel baggers that are prominent now when you go to the rallies. Again, you're out here where I live. You're not going to see a big wheel bagger going down the road because they're not. I don't know. It's just not in this in my neighborhood. It's not part of the culture. Daytona, though, I'm sure they're all over the place. But yeah, so I kind of see some of those things, new things coming up and old things going by the wayside. So just that, it gives you an idea about how the culture's changing. That our kids that are growing up aren't real prone to run out and buy a Harley. They're going to get something more that they can afford, and they're going to get something practical that serves their purpose. Uh, Back in the day, I bought my Harley because it was a lifestyle. It was a prestige thing. Like, I have to have a Harley. I've ridden with lots of bikers, and I want a Harley. I got to have a Harley. And I love my Harley. I won't lie about that. It served me very well over the years, and I haven't had to do any real major repairs to it. Although it, there's nothing on it really that's original, but I didn't do that. That was an insurance job that was done by the dealership. But I'm not afraid to wrench on it either and do what I have to do. I've changed the tires on it. Like I said, I've taken the carburetor off of there and cleaned it. Um, Numerous little tasks. Um, oh, the dirt bike over here. I still can't get the turn signals to flash. And I've gone through the whole system. I've done everything that I know how to do. And the only one thing that I think may I don't know. I put a brand new LED headlight in here. The other one was just a regular headlight bulb that plugged in. This is LED. So is that causing the circuit to where these don't want to flash? I've got a new flasher unit in it. I've got all the right bulbs in it. But when I turn it on, it'll come on left or right, but it just stays on. It won't flash. There's no flash to it. So I'm I'll admit I'm no expert at wiring, or definitely not an expert mechanic either. I'm a backyard mechanic, but I don't know. Does it need one of these suppressors in there that I bought somewhere wired into the headlight? I don't know. I'm about ready to give up on it. I think what I'll do is when I'm riding and I need my turn signal, I'll do this. And do the manual blink, because it'll work that way. They'll kind of come on and off that way. Well, I'm going to take advantage of this weather today, and as I have been even yesterday, working outside. There's just was so much to be done out here. A couple years ago, I had up on the barn gutters and the house, I had them install a leaf filter. And it wasn't cheap either. It cost a fortune. And it's functioned fine on the house, but on the garage, every time it rained, the water was, after their installation, after they installed this leaf guard that it keeps, all the debris just comes right off. It doesn't go into the gutter anymore. So I don't have to climb up there and clean the gutter. But every time it rained, the rain would come through my soffit behind the gutter. And so I had them come out numerous times complaining about it, said ever since you put that leaf guard on there, that leaf filter, the water's draining behind my gutter instead of going into the gutter. And they, oh, no, they said it's not our fault. They sent this guy out. He says, well, I'm the final word. I'm the expert at leaf filter. And he got up there and he said, no, nothing we did. And I said, well, it's obviously is what you did, because it never did that before. No, I don't see a problem. That's it. We're done. There's nothing else we can do for you. And they washed their hands of me. So what I ended up doing was I went to Home Depot and I bought a roll of like 6-inch wide stainless steel flashing. And I was able to slide it up under the shingles and have it overhang the drip edge by about 1 inch. So it comes out a little, so when the water comes off the roof, it comes out a little further and drops down. And that solved the problem. But we had a storm the other day, and the wind kicked up really strong, and it blew some of my flashing loose. And so yesterday I had to go back up there and make sure everything was secure in place, that it wouldn't blow out of there again. And so that took me a little while. I had to get that project done because I don't want my soffits rotting out from water getting behind them. I've got plenty to do to work around the yard on my landscape. I keep my place pristine like a park, and that doesn't come without labor. So I've got to go through these beds and take all the dead stuff out. You'll see I already have green shoots coming up. The spring is in the air, and they'll do better when I get that dead stuff out. I have a lot of daffodils going down the driveway, and so what I've done too, yesterday I went down there and they were covered with leaves, so I pulled the leaves away from them so that they can thrive. But as spring comes on, I have more and more workload here to take care of. And it's hard to do when you're retired and you don't have a spouse here to prompt you to get things done. It takes some I just have to push myself. You know, I have to tax myself in the morning like I need to get this stuff done. I gotta do it today. The weather's decent. I can't wait for it to rain or snow again. I just got to get it done. So um, the toys stay in the house, and I got my work list cut out for me. Now, the other thing I would like to remind you of as motorcyclists, all of you guys, I don't care what you ride, we have to be more and more careful today than ever. I mean, people are more addicted to their cell phones than they've ever been before in their lives. Um, all these new vehicles have the onboard screen, so people are playing with those while you're driving. Just 2 days ago, a lady came left to center at me, and I thought it was done. I thought she was going to head on me at 60 mile an hour. Almost halfway into my lane, I slammed on the brakes and headed for the ditch. And at the last minute, she cut back over into her own lane and obviously was looking down at something. Very disturbing. And it's happening more and more and more. So as bikers, we need to really focus. You know what's in front of you. Know what's on your peripherals. Know what's behind you at all times. Don't let yourself daydream. Don't just go blowing through intersections confident that nothing's going to happen. Always be aware and drive defensively. It might save your life. Well, thanks for watching. If you like my video, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, please subscribe and join me on this ride. And I promise you I'll be out riding very soon here. And I'm really looking forward to it again. Till next time, cats, ride hard and die free.